Yeah, hey guys, welcome back to Wildest in the Circle, brought to you by TGT Esports, Esports Hub, and NotiKINGz. So today we are finally into the second day of playoffs, and today I have Wild as my co-caster.
So yes, Chief, as you said, today we are the second day of our playoffs, and we have none other than Dynasty versus TOR playing with us. And yeah, well, the tosses are being done and all. Meanwhile, let's talk about the standings. Yeah, let's give the audience a quick rundown, like how are the standings working right now. So we know that Universe 11, being the behemoth out there, have the first place, and they had a match against me and the boys yesterday, which resulted in a 3-1 victory into their favor. Yeah, me and the boys did win the first game, but we saw a clean sweep, whatever you want to call that, a storm coming up by the side of Universe 11 in next three games. So yeah, we did cast that game. So what's your opinion? Like, was that expected? Because Oni-chan playing on Shinzao, his main, his first game on Rengar was pretty decent in spite of him going Duskblade and all. But yeah, like, what was your thoughts upon those matches?
I mean, the matches, of course, me and the boys played extremely well in the first game. They kind of stomped Universe 11, but Universe 11 came back like a king. The next three games, stomp after stomps, every single game they won. And they even won with a Garen going full AD build. He built the Bloodthirster. So
That
those
wasn't an
kind of
AD. It was a full crit Garen, and I was like Akansha just didn't. Yeah, you know Garen's third ability somewhat of a deals a crit when he hits you with his edge of the sword or something like that. But going full crit on Garen, that to Bloodthirster into Static Shiv into Phantom Dancer, that was new for me. So like I was like, what is this build? And well, I really want to try it in a rank, and I might. But let's talk about other teams standing also. We have Dynasty Gaming at the second place, then followed by me and the boys at the third place. We had Bichu Gang at the fourth place, and then Tor at the fifth place.
Yeah,
But
so
the
this is a
fact,
very interesting thing happened over here, right? Because it was Pichu Gang who qualified for the fourth place in the contender stream, but unfortunately, due to the team issues, they weren't able to play in the league, and it's been TOR who has been given the position to play in the playoffs. So TOR, I would say they are kind of lucky team, right? Coming into playoffs, even though you're not qualified. So the wildcard entry team. So can they make it big in the playoffs?
yeah, means it was obvious because yeah, TOR was just below Bichukang and Bichukang wasn't able to come in. So yeah, it was pretty much expected. But the fact that they are now the wild card or the like they have the chance to prove themselves. Like yeah, they lost a chance to get into the playoffs, but somehow luck was into in their favor. So they are now into the playoffs. Now let's hope that today they perform well against Dynasty because we know Dynasty has means have had a long run, like long winning run when it comes to the team. They are pretty much dependent upon their executions. You pick up dual ADC and something like that. They still manage to win. They have managed to win many games with Katrina on Zac. It seems like Zac, Vegeta, whatever the name you take on their team at Hurricane, like these are means any day any player from their side can carry. Meanwhile, talking about the team Tor, we have seen like the major carry potential on. I feel like Calm can carry the team. Meanwhile, Adrian in jungle is somewhat of a very like he has good macro and all, but we have seen that on his fall like when he is playing some kind of an engage, there aren't many follow-ups that eventually helps Tor like that eventually makes Tor play at a very passive game, or you might like to say they play at a very back foot.
Yeah, I mean, especially with Thor having a new jungler, right? Because they had an immediate substitute jungler, and it's going to be CX Adrian. So it's going to be having some kind of synergy difference as well. Because when you're being playing in the playoffs, it is completely new jungler. You would be seeing a performance difference happening, and especially against a team like Dynasty, it's going to be up to them to prove that who are they in this game.
Yeah, well, talking about the players and all, let's talk about the schedule. Yeah, yesterday we had like guys just to let you know, like we had Universe 11 versus me and the boys yesterday. Universe 11 won, and today we have Dynasty versus Tor. So this is the deciding match for them. Like the team which wins moves to finale from here, so they get a spot there. So means it's a like make it or break it for them.
Yep, exactly. This is a eliminated games with the winner of this match, which is going to be Dynasty versus TOR. So the winner is going to be directly qualifying for the finals. Meanwhile, the loser is going to be eliminated out of the bracket. So this is a do or die situation for either of the teams.
Well, apart from that, and your favorite players, if I had to ask, like, who is the player you're gonna bet on the side of Dynasty and on
Hmm.
the side of like TOR? Like, what will be your picks? Means your favorite players.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very interesting question that you have asked me. I think my favorites would be going for Dynasty Zack as for the players for Dynasty, and it's going to be Adrian for the side of TOR because I have played with both of these players. They are extremely great players. The micro is on point. But it all depends on the macro, right? Because at the end of the day, it's a 5 versus 5 game.
Well, as you said, yeah, means I'm completely like not surprised. Like you actually picked Zach because Zach give him any assassin mid laner like Katrina or Akali, and if you give this guy Akali or Katrina, he is surely gonna carry in spite of whatever CC you have. We saw
Not
Dynasty
just
going.
Katrina and Akali, he's amazingly god on Diana as well. So every single mid laner, every assassin mid laner, he can play extremely well. So if he gets hands on any one of them, he has the potential to carry. So it's all going to be coming down to drafts, right? If you can
The
deny it.
fact that yeah, Zach is the guy who shines a lot when it comes to his carry and but we cannot forget Vegeta when it comes to his Camille and Lee. Like he did manage to put out a very great place with that throughout these matches and all. So yeah, I feel like as a jungler, Vegeta somewhat seems to be on the upper tier when it comes to contenders league.
Yeah, kind of, because from talking about jungle perspective, right? Because from what we have seen toward the tournament, he has been playing amazingly well on his Jarvan, but on the all the other junglers, it wasn't that great of a scene. But if he gets a Jarvan, he does have a potential to carry the team as well. So I do feel like Jarvan might be one of the bands coming forward in this tournament. I mean, coming forward in the
Yeah,
draft
we
at least.
might see a Jarvan ban. I feel like there might be an Akali. There will be an Akali ban. And if you do not, Zach has the first pick. And yeah, DYN Dynasty will be smart enough to give Zach his Akali because let's see, like Zach does not care whatever comp he's going against. If he gets Akali, he gets Akali. He's like, I'll get it. My job is to just kill the ADC or the squishy champs, and then you guys can go for a cleanup and all that. Meanwhile, talking about Sunny the Piro, like from the side of Dynasty, the guy actually won a 1v1 trade with a Camille, with a Riven against a Malphite the other day. The game was casted by us. So like it goes to show that yeah, he has a decent balance pool champion and he's pretty much well versed with all the mechanics. So means this guy even has a very much carry potential when it comes to his lane.
Yep, and now that all of the thoughts have been done, we have already started with the bans. And the first ban being the Riven being banned by uh by Dynasty. So I'm not really sure what went into banning something like a Riven, right? Because Riven is not considered to be one of the top Baron laners. When you have champions like Renekton, when you have champions like Fiora still left open.
Well, the fact that you remember, I just talked about like Sunny the Period actually plays a lot of Riven and he became the carry potential. Like he became the hard engage, like he was, and no one was able to catch him because of him being so good with his mechanical skills and all. And he got solo kills on Malphite, on a tank Malphite, that too. So, well, yeah, players might be tormented with his Riven. So, yeah, that ban is justifiable. Talking about another bans, we see Renekton ban, somewhat of a good ban in top lane, but yeah, I think it is majorly focused like targeted towards Carmen because yeah, he has a very much means carry potential when it comes to his Renekton. We see Ziggs Galio ban, pretty decent and standard bans. You don't want those button champions on you. Like Ziggs, very great tower breaking potential, and Galio can change whole team fight scenario with his ultimate and the taunt. And meanwhile, talking about Akali, again, I said Akali would be banned here because if it would have not, then our friend Zach would have taken it.
Yep, and I mean, they are definitely a great band coming out by TOR. They have already done their research and have properly prioritized on the bands, and so thus coming out with a Caliban. But you said, right, you just have three bands and it's a proper game. So you still have Katrina being open, you still have Katrina and Diana being open. So those are the two options which Zach can still pick up.
Yeah, I mean Zach has Katrina as a choice, and we saw Zach picking Katrina into a Malphite Wukong type of a comp, and he played it so well. Like he knew like when he had to enter, like Malphite wasted his ult, Wukong wasted his ult, and then Zach jumped in. So like in spite of those circumstances, he knows how to play that champion, and that's very commendable on his part because you playing against the odds, that goes to show how well you are, how good you are as a player. Meanwhile, talking about the last bans, we have Xin Shao. Shinzao has a ban. So let's be honest. Like this recent patch, we have been seeing Xin majorly popping into jungle meta. Like yeah, people are preferring to go Xin against Lee Sin and all. So he has been become that early dominating jungler that helps his hyper carry get fed. So like, what's your opinion of Xin silently, sneakily sliding into the meta?
I mean, ever since, I mean, of course, I would still say the best jungler to pick in the current patch is going to be Kha'Zix because of the potential 1 versus 9 carry which he can do in the late game. But talking about Zinzao, yeah, he's slowly creeping back into the meta because every single time, every single tournament, we are seeing Zinzao being either being picked or it being banned. So Zinzao being playing competitive, I'm not really sure about how good he is, but uh, yeah, because see, with Zinza, you have the option to go full AD or you can always go full tank as well. So you do have the flexibility, right?
Well, yeah, see the fact that yeah, you have that early game advantage with that champion, so you know you will deal a lot of damage. You have your ultimate that somewhat of negates every kind of a damage there, and the majorly like yeah, early game you get two items to deal damage. Late game you just become a tanky beef who's there for an engage for a catch up something like that, and yeah, will look to peel as much as he can so that his team can look for a cleanup. So overall, a very balanced champion. Like yeah, you get early domination. You late in means when it comes to the late game, yeah, you get that hard tank which you require as a team like to peel something. So I feel like yeah, due to that, that might be the major reason for him popping suddenly. And the very fact that we have seen many conqueror teams pick Zinja, such as Crowley, and like he I have seen like him playing Zinja so many times against Lee Sin and all, against BOH that too. So yeah, Zinja is currently performing very nicely. Meanwhile, talking about AOT, did you see AOT versus anti-RR yesterday?
Unfortunately, I couldn't make up time to see the Conqueror stream, but I do know for the fact that Anti-RR gave a really amazing fight to AOT. The Titans have finally fallen, right? It was a very close game, right? It went to a 2-2 series and finally went to the fifth game as a decider. But unfortunately, Anti-RR did lose it. So, yeah.
Well, Crowley had to pick a Wukong there, and that was first time for me seeing Crowley picking a Wukong into a competitive tourney, like throughout this tourney. So yeah, means like pushing a guy to pick Wukong so that he can play for his team, like a full team-oriented champion, a utility, not playing that hyper carry and all. So yeah,
Mhm.
that just goes to show that how well anti-RR played yesterday. But coming back to our to fight for the day, we have Dynasty and Thor, and we see Vegeta picking his one of his main champions, Gragas, over there into the jungle. I feel like he'll be going aftershock on that, and yeah, he's looking to go tank. What I feel like.
I mean, yeah, like since most of the tanky champions are banned, so Greg is going full tanky. I would think it's a pretty good idea on his side, but it is going to be immediately countered by Camille and a prompt pick coming out from TOR. So talking about Camille, right? Camille is that one champion which is kind of very underrated, right? You can flex her in the jungle, you can flex her in the bottom lane, but even though she's such a great utility champion, I don't see her being as much in the meta as other champions.
Well, let's be honest. Coming into jungle is very much a gives you a very confirmed kill after level 5, because you see a somewhat of like enemy champion overextended. You have your hook shot to close the gap, and then you'll go and use your hashtag ultimatum. And if you're the mid laner or the top laner, wherever you get, if he is smart enough, you get a confirmed kill on that, because that's the enough time you can actually, the time you get with that hashtag ultimatum, you can actually look to means delete that champion. But talking about Camille pick, we see in spite of Camille being picked on the side of Tor, Zach preferred to go Corki here. Like, yeah, Camille somewhat of counters that Corki because she has the lockdown, so she'll just jump onto that Corki.
Hmm.
But I really like the fact that Dynasty over here looking to go double AD comp. That too, Tristana and Corki, like these two champions into the late game can they scale a lot. They scale a lot, and the fact that Tristana will become an hyper carry, Corki with his package. Oh, he's gonna be like disastrous. But to counter that, we see like yeah, they have somewhat of a pickup and lockdown. Like they have Ari, they have Camille, and they have Varus poke onto their side. So I feel like both the teams are pretty much balanced. In like Garen and Braum onto the side of Thor is there to peel as much as they can. Meanwhile, we see Fiora against a Garen, so that Garen might be getting bullied in the top lane there. But the fact that we have such a balanced comp, I feel like yeah, Garen will be getting bullied in the lane. If he does not die and survives that, he can prove to be so much of a use in a team fight. Let's see how things work out for Tor, because yeah, that top lane out there seems not into the favor of Garen right now.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the top lane is definitely going to be no, the favored matchup for Fiora, but it all depends on how well I mean the other lanes play out, right? Because when you see in the mid lane, it's a Ari versus a Corki, and if Ari is that one kind of champion, right? If even if you hit one jump, it's almost a guaranteed kill which you have. So if the Ari is going to be playing well, and if you're going to be creating the mid difference right in the early game, so I don't think it's going to be much of a problem losing out in the top battle lane, right?
Well, the fact that if you have an Ari charm, and the way you go around, like Ari charm, then Camille jumps on to the guy that gets charmed, you pretty much get a confirmed kill, as you said right now. So with that, we have jumped into the game, and like we are seeing, like look at the bot lane right now. We are seeing like they are looking for they are looking to give leash. We might expect an invade. Like they have a Brom, they all have stacked around the river at the bot side, but no, everyone is looking to go back into their lane. Well, it's pretty obvious that Fiora wins the lane at the top lane, but mid lane, I feel like yeah, Corki and Ari might have somewhat of an even lane. And meanwhile, talking about the bot lane, we have a Brom and Varus. Meanwhile, on the other side, we have a Rakan and Tristana. I feel like these Brom and Varus might have a priority in their ring.
Yeah, Braum and Varus definitely going to be having priority in lane, right? Because when you're going to be playing something like a Rakan, when you're going to be something like Tristana, you need to scale really hard into the game, and that's exactly how you win the game. And also, why are these all of these players in the mid lane, the Braum in the mid lane, Varus in the mid lane, Ari in the mid lane? I think this is going to be looking for a possible restart. I think one of them is going to be having some network issues.
So yeah, we are back to a restart here, and both the teams here with this will be looking to well sit at the mid lane and just will be looking to get some kills and all for having fun. But the fact that yeah, man, another restart. Oof, this feels bad, no?
I mean, yeah, getting a restart in something like in the playoff series, it's kind of bad, right? Because it's going to be wasting everyone's time, and
Yeah, it's the best of
it shouldn't
five.
really be happening. But it's still better, right? Because it's going to be losing the playoffs match. It's going to be a very important match, especially this match. It's the eliminator. You can
Like
just
yeah,
restart because
if you
if you
win
lose,
this
you're out
best
of the
of five,
tournament.
you get like as I said, it's a make it or break it for both the teams. Like yesterday, it was for like me and the boys and Universe 11 somehow. Well, the first let's talk about yesterday's game. Meanwhile, the lobbies remain. Like we saw first game a pretty dominant game coming out from like me and the boys. But the fact that the way Universe 11 came back, yeah, you gave Pain the Jarvan the team fight oriented com. He played the sacrificial lamb, but it didn't work for him. But at the end of the day, when he played a carry jungle, he actually carried Universe 11. Like it wasn't him, like whole team played around that carry jungle. But the fact that Pain playing on carry helps the team win, like it goes to show that how much your team is totally dependent upon Pain.
Yeah, Universe 11, I would say. Universe 11 really has a big jungle difference happening in the team. Pain is an amazingly great jungler. I would even go as far as to say that Pain is better than most junglers in the Conquerors League.
I mean, well, it depends. I haven't seen him play, but the way he plays, it feels like every game he's creating somewhat of a jungle deck. And the fact that like as you said, he was a ex AEX member, so he has played with every other top teams out there. Like yeah, AEX got disbanded, but before that, Zirein, Pain, Foxy, Ash, and all of them were on the same team, and at that time they were one of the top teams in India.
Yeah, and when when all of the ex-top team players come up together, you definitely know what's going to be happening. And that's exactly what you saw in yesterday's game as well, right? Universe 11 just dominated the entire series, and now they're in the finals. So it's up to these teams. It's up to Dynasty, and it's up to TOR to see that who's going to be playing against Universe 11 in the first finals of the Contenders League.
Well, I'll be not surprised if Dynasty makes it because see, yeah, I don't say TOR has no chance, but the fact that I have seen Dynasty play and the way they play against the odds, like yeah, and the way that player Zach, yeah, I have big throughout this event or throughout this Wild Rift India circuit, and I have been watching Dynasty. Zach is the most hard carry person on their side. Like the guy gets Katrina against 4 or 5 hard CC champions and still manages to make sure that his team wins and still manages to make sure that he's the MVP in that game also. So the fact that in spite of having odds stacked up against him, he wins every game.
Yes, I'm definitely looking forward to Zach's performance in this game. But more than Zach's performance, I'm really looking forward to how this Camille is going to be performing. Because for a fact, I know that Adrian is a really great jungle. So if he is the new player and if he's going to be managing to create a jungle def, the mid difference isn't going to be mattering that much. So the star players, the players you should be really be looking out for in this game are Dynasty, Zach, and Adrian on the side of TOR.
The fact that means I don't know, like Dams used to jungle, but I guess he has some issue and also he didn't join. So Adrian is filling for him as a substitute here. I know Adrian actually plays a lot of Yasuo jungle. I have seen him play. I have even played with him. But I am seeing first time Adrian on Camille, so I'll be shocked. Like he's gonna surprise me because the fact that Camille is a very mechanical heavy champion, and a good Camille player actually plays around her passive, like they know like what's the cooldown and all. And if you actually overchase her, like you'll end up dying to her passive. But with that, we see blue team surrendering the game, and
Yeah, so
we'll be
finally we're
jumping
coming
into
to 5 minutes where the teams have surrendered. So we'll be jumping into straight into the game one of today's semi-finals in a short
yeah,
while.
in a short one, we'll be just jumping into the game then. But let's just see how things roll out for them because I don't want another restart, man. Let's just get with this game because I'm excited to see Zach. And from the side of, like as you said, Adrian is the guy to look out for. I'm excited to see how his Camille works.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm really excited to see how this comes through. So even though there's a surrender option, why isn't that surrender coming? Because the game is still going on.
Blue team has, I don't know,
Wait, did
did
blue team just surrender?
did
Wait,
what the? Okay, so
what?
we might be.
So we might be in for another 3 or 4 minutes before the surrender button pops up again. So I don't know what's wrong with this team when the surrender
Yeah,
button is
man.
popped up and you're looking for a restart. Why not just click on the yes
The
mark?
five buttons, yeah, it does not mean that you are losing the game actually.
If exactly, doesn't mean they're losing the game. And I mean, now what Dynasty is going to be looking to do, just go in for the core dive. There could be all of them playing in the mid lane. Even though the mid lane is open, Fiora is still going in the top lane. Tristana is still farming. What are these things? What are these doing?
This is
Oh.
just immaturity coming out by the teams, but yeah, with like, we might have to wait for a little bit long. But I feel like yeah, they might just to end at the Nexus right now at this point, man. They're just wasting time, like their time, because it's a best of 5 series, and yeah, we even have a Conqueror leagues out there, so they should.
Yep. So guys, if you don't know, for today's Conquerors League, we have the match between Ban of the Hawks and TGT Esports. So both of these teams are the absolute rivals in the Conquerors League. Both of these teams have won against each other, but it was last time the victory was taken over by Band of the Hawks. So this time, what do you think it's going to be happening? Do you think TGT is going to be having a revenge, or is it going to be the same result like last time?
Like I feel like yeah, TGT might get their revenge. Yeah, they won a match against Band of the Hawk, but Band of the Hawk came strong. Second, the fact that it's BOH versus TGT, we have known TGT to do their homework and they know what to ban. They aren't like jumping into the game like they are pre-prepared. They know what to ban. They aren't always focused on meta bans. They like okay, let's ban the champion that will be hurtful for the like that will hurt them the most, or that is like someone's most comfortable pick, something like that. So they try to actually go for those kind of bans, what I feel like, as far as I have observed TGT. But yeah, let's see how things work out in that match. We have a special guest coming into TGT's game, so stay tuned and don't forget to join it at 8 p.m. because yeah, there's a guest caster coming in, guys.
Yep, so you definitely don't want to be missing out on today's Conquerors League because the guest master is going to be. Okay, I am not supposed to reveal it, but make sure to tune in for the stream.
So yeah, you'll be getting the news and all in a short while. Everything will be rolling out, but before that, yeah, it's kind of a surprise. But the fact that let's just see, teams will be sitting. I see that they'll be looking to go for a blind pick here, and yeah, I hope the next game we don't get to see a remake. By God.
Yep. And guys, if you're new to the stream, so make sure you like the stream and also subscribe to the channel because this is going to be a really fun film match. You are going to be getting to know which team is going to be playing against Universe 11 in the finals of the contender stream presented to you by Wireless in the Circuit.
I'm excited to see like how they will be playing against them. Like I have been invited to another lobby here, and yeah, let's see. The teams are here actually. I'm pretty much excited to see how things go for them.